The cracked mirror. The house at the far end of Mbiru Street had always been a place people crossed the road to avoid. The wooden shutters were wrapped from decades of rain. The roof sagged in the middle like a tired back, and its tall, narrow windows always seemed to glint faintly, even on cloudy days. They called it Uluanyan Diochi, the house with the mother's eye. No one could explain why, but Adana wasn't from here. Not really. She had grown up in Enugu, only visiting this village as a child during Christmas. So when her uncle offered to sell her the old place for next to nothing, she didn't care about the whispers. She needed space, peace, and a chance to start over. Her uncle has just one condition. Leave the hallway mirror where it is. Do not cover it, do not move it. And wherever you do, never look into it at midnight. He said with the weight of a man who expected to be obeyed, but Adana had laughed it over. The day she moved in, the air was heavy with the smell of rain-soaked earth. She carried her boxes through the dim hallway, where the gold-framed oval mirror hung. It was almost as tall as she was, but split diagonally by a jagged crack. She caught her reflection and froze. The crack split her face. On the left side, she looked as she always did. On the right, her features seemed slightly off. Nothing obvious, but nothing to make her stomach tighten. She blamed the bad lightning and walked past. That night, as the generator hummed outside, she heard something. A whisper, faint like wind, passing through grass, but it came from behind. She turned. No one was there, just the mirror. The days passed quietly, but the mirror unsettled her. Sometimes she glanced at it and see herself smiling faintly, even though her mouth was still. Sometimes her reflection's head would tilt a second too late, like an actor missing their cue. One evening, as she walked past, she saw something else. Behind her reflection, deep in the darkness of the mirror's background, was a figure, tall, motionless, watching. She spun around. The hallway behind her was empty. Her chest tightened. She left the light on that night. A week later, at the market, she overheard two women whispering, "That house? The house is still there, eh? They never removed it. How could they? It's not a mirror, it's a mouth." Curiosity burned through her fear. She approached the old woman selling dried fish and asked, "Do you know the history of my house?" The woman's face shifted. She looked Adana up and down, then said quietly, "It belonged to a midwife many years ago. She delivered babies, but some say she kept the first breath of every child in that mirror. When she died, people saw her walking in their reflections. The cracks came after a storm. The same night, 3 children vanished." She handed Adana her change without looking her in the eyes. Adana went home with a lump in her throat. By the second week, the voice in the mirror grew clearer. Adana. The first time she heard it, she froze. The whisper came from inside the glass, vibrating through her bones. She leaned closer, trembling. "Who are you?" she whispered. Her reflection's lip moved, but the voice didn't come from there. It came from somewhere deeper. "I can help you. You don't have to be alone. Just come closer." She staggered back, heart pounding. It was on the 15th night that the storm came. Rain battered the roof, and thunder rolled like the sky was tearing apart. The power cut out, leaving only the dim light of her kerosene lamp. In the flicker, she saw the mirror. The crack glowed faintly, like molten gold. The glass on the right side rippled as it made of water. Her reflection's eyes were black. "It's time," it said. The crack widened, and cold air poured into the hallway. The sound of children crying echoed faintly from inside. Adana tried to run, but the floor felt sticky, holding her in place. She screamed as the reflection reached out. Through the glass, its fingers were eyes, but they grappled her with impossible strength. She felt herself being pulled forward, her vision doubling. One part still in her body, the other already in the mirror's world, where the hallway was darker, wetter, and smelled like something dead. The last thing she saw before the glass swallowed her was her reflection stepping out into her hallway, wearing her face and smiling. The next morning, the neighbor saw Adana at the window, smiling faintly. She waved when they passed, but something in her gaze made them cross the street. That night, in the mirror's world, Adana screamed but no sound came. Behind her, the tall, motionless figure watched. It had the face of an old midwife, and its eyes were hungry. The hallway mirror in the real world was whole again, no crack, no blemish. It waits. In the mirror world, Adana fell to her knees, gasping in the thick wet air. The cries of children echoed through the darkness. The midwife stepped closer, her sharp smile stretched. "You're mine now." But Adana's fear burnt into anger. She remembered the old woman's word. She kept the first breath of every baby she delivered. If the mirror had taken lives through breath, maybe it could give them back. She turned and ran towards the father's shadow, following the faint sounds of crying until she found them. 3 small pale figures huddled together, their lips moving silently. She knelt, cupping her hands around them. "Breathe," she whispered. "Breathe with me." The children inhaled, and the mirror's world trembled. In the real house, the cracked mirror shutters violently. Inside, Adana felt the air rushed around her as the glass began to split. The midwife longed, but the children's breath grew stronger, swelling like wind. With one last gasp, Adana exhaled hard, forcing every bit of her towards the crack. The glass shattered outward. She tumbled over the hallway floor of the real home, rain still dropping on the floor. The mirror lay in pieces. The gold frame was empty. The storm passed by morning. The neighbor saw Adana at the window, tired but smiling warmly. This time, her eyes looked like her own. She buried the broken shreds in the earth, scattering salt over the spot. And though she sometimes swore she had faint children's laughter in the wind, the hallway wall stayed bare. The house at the end of Mbiru Street no longer watched people, but Adana never kept another mirror. Thank you for staying tuned to my story. I hope you subscribe so that you get to know as soon as another interesting story drops. Thanks for being part of this channel. Bye.